How many followers am I going to lose for this? I wanted to talk about Star Wars. The Empire did nothing wrong! Darth Vader had to blow up Alderaan. Alderaan was being used as a base to house the Rebel Alliance. The Mandalorian uses Baby Yoda as a human shield. Han shot first, everyone. Sorry, Rebels. What? I'm sorry you hate the galaxy so much!
This is how it's gonna end.
5 Arab countries attacked Israel. They lost in a war.
What does that have to do with Star Wars? How many followers am I going to lose for this? I'm in Washington Square Park, and I don't know, I wanted to talk about Star Wars. The Empire did nothing wrong! Alderaan was being used as a base to house the Rebel Alliance. That is why Darth Vader had to destroy it. The Mandalorian uses Baby Yoda as a human shield. How many people died when Luke blew up the Death Star? I'm here to talk about Star Wars. The Rebel Alliance committed all these atrocities.
Cool.
Luke Skywalker's dad basically killed a whole bunch of children, and no one wants to talk about it. Alderaan never thanked the Empire for getting the Trade Commission in line. Remember there was a blockade? The Trade Commission wouldn't let anything in and out? Who fixed it? Senator Palpatine, Emperor Palpatine. Emperor Palpatine fixed everything. Darth Vader had to blow up Alderaan. It was being held as a rebel alliance. No one wants to talk about how Alderaan was housing rebel soldiers. Do you watch Star Wars? Luke Skywalker's a terrorist. Life was really good under the Empire. The Empire got the Hutts to start paying taxes. No one wants to talk about how the economy was working really well under the Empire.
1948, 5 Arab countries attacked Israel. They lost in a war.
What does that have to do with Star Wars? Have you watched Star Wars? I honestly think Senator Palpatine had to disband the Senate. I mean, it was just filled with secret Rebel Alliance people, in my opinion.
Anybody want to guess who this guy supported in 9/11?
No one wants to talk about the atrocities that Saw Gerrera committed. Queen Amidala was having troubles with her pregnancy and she needed health care. Who helped provide health care? Emperor Palpatine. It wasn't Yoda. It wasn't, the Jedi. Sorry, Rebels. These rebels don't want to talk about these inconvenient truths.
Not on genocide. Learn to count. You people are innumerate.
The Empire cared more about Baby Yoda than the Mandalorian.
Vader, you're my favorite, man.
You're my
favorite. Let me show you what a genocide is.
I can't tell. Is he talking about Star Wars or not?
Yeah, wait a second.
He's pulling it up on his phone, everyone.
Some people say, what if you have an intent to kill a person? Appreciate your patience.
Have you seen Star Wars, sir?
Of course I have.
Can we agree that Luke Skywalker is a terrorist and his father killed a whole bunch of kids?
Well, his father killed kids, but I think they deserved it.
His father killed kids, but they deserved it.
Did you see the same movie as me? Those kids were asking for it.
The kids were asking for it.
Those young ones.
Yeah, I don't think
They struck first.
they struck.
I don't remember.
No, it's Han. Han that shot first. Han shot first, but then the media edited the footage. Han shot first, everyone. Sorry, Rebels. You guys are basically supporting a smuggler who stole the Millennium Falcon, and he's like housing terrorists from the Rebel Alliance. And no one wants to talk about Saw Gerrera and all the atrocities he committed.
How did they manage to fit that proton cannon into the little 2-meter hole? It doesn't make sense.
Exactly. It was an inside job.
Must have been.
Yeah. And they don't want to talk about how Luke Skywalker's father was right there, and he was conveniently off of the Death Star when it blew up. The Empire did nothing wrong. They had to blow up Alderaan. It was being used as a base for the Rebel Alliance. Han Solo shot first, and the media edited the footage He was a terrorist.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. The Death Star brought so many jobs to the galaxy, and Luke Skywalker blew it up.
What empire?
What? The Empire.
Which one?
There's one empire. There's not two empires.
Star Wars?
Yeah.
Oh!
Luke Skywalker is a terrorist.
What did he say?
I said,
The Empire did nothing wrong. What was wrong with the Empire?
nothing. That's right. You're right. That's this guy here. He gets it. Nothing was wrong with the Empire.
Luke, I am your father.
It's no, I am your. No, I am your father. Or isn't it? What is it? No, I am. The Death Star has a right to defend itself. The Empire did nothing wrong. You what? Yeah. Luke Skywalker's a terrorist. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. What? The Empire? What are you talking about? I'm sorry you hate the galaxy so much. Why do you hate the galaxy so much?
We are students from universities across New York and New Jersey. And we're here to show a united student front for Palestine.
This is how it's gonna end. Hey, Hamas supporters! Hey, Hamas supporters!
But it is pretty funny that Israel is currently refusing a Geneva conference, which would be for both Hamas officials and for Israeli officials.
Yeah.
So if he wants them tried, then let's try them all. Let's do it all. ICC for war crimes for individuals. ICJ is for against states. So the ICJ would be against Israel specifically, but Hamas can't be tried in the ICJ because Hamas is not it's not a state entity.
What part of human shield do you people not understand? Hey, Hamas supporters! Big waters, $1! Big waters, $1! You're in the middle of it now, but this is how it ends! Big waters, this is how it ends! Big waters, $1!
Yeah.
Yeah, every time, because everybody that supports Stir is afraid to show their face.
Ask yourself, why they're always hiding their face?
Hide my face like your dermatologist does.
We're in the middle of just, complete delusion from, one side, and people who actually stand in solidarity with people that are, actually dying, facing a genocide, facing oppression, facing suppression of their culture. So you see the tale of two cities.
They're saying that their side is more of a side than your side.
You can't justify genocide, period. You don't justify murder, period. You don't justify senseless acts of violence, period. You don't justify bigotry and hatred, period. When you have a population of people that takes on a sector, or what do you want to consider a race or ethnicity or creed under a whole population of people, you understand what I'm saying? And then they ostracize the rest of the population, then that becomes extremism, and that becomes far right, outright hatred. You understand? So that's really, it's really nothing to talk about. You have a tale of two cities here. Get on the right side of history.
Every time you're doing something wrong, you killing people, you ass. Shit you saying, man. They didn't have no lanes, B. England brought them over there.
Yeah.
Me, I study history, man. And you know which country I come from? Haiti, B. We beat them for f***ing French, B. We got them deep in the same, B. We know this shit, man. You're all made up. Yeah. Every one of you guys are made up. Y'all not Jewish. Y'all Jews. We're Palestinians that loves Jews. We live with them. I know that. I've been there 7 years. I grew up with them. They all love us, and we love them back. All right? All it's fake. It's stolen from Jewish people. Why are you taking? I feel bad. That's why you got the Jews right there with us.
Going out driving to get another booster. Wow. You look like you have post-traumatic stress from the other day. You really shouldn't enough. It really got into your head. It's really affecting you.
You were in like...
How you doing?
I can see it. You're not yourself. You're about to cry.
But listen, I believe in a homeland for the Jews. I believe that there should be in Palestine, Jewish people should live there safely.
I believe that too.
Yeah, so I can hold space for the fact that the British started this. They were the original colonizers. They
Who
pushed.
they colonize?
What?
Who they colonize?
British colonized, those British mandate Palestine.
Right.
They wanted it as an outpost.
Hold on. Palestine was Christian Jews and Muslims that were living
Okay. Yes. And
No.
yeah,
it's-
and they escalated this conflict.
How they escalate the conflict?
By Britain escalated the conflict. They wanted the Jewish people to be the leaders of Palestine. They didn't.
That's not true. In 1940, hold on.
Okay.
Because we need, if we're gonna have a conversation, we need a benchmark, right?
Okay.
So in 1948, the Arabs that were there were given what was called Palestine.
With 1948, I'm talking about like the 20s, the 30s. I'm not. We're not even at 1948. That's too late. We're talking about years of, the British, being the original colonizers, right? And I can hold space for the fact that the Jewish people were fleeing persecution.
They were decolonizing by going back to their homeland. Everybody that's in.
Let's not say decolonizing. Let's say.
No, that's what it is. Everybody that talks about all colonization across the country or the world, you finally have a people that's decolonizing.
When you say decolonizing, the founders don't know what you're talking about. Theodore Herzl doesn't know what you're talking about.
We're going back 3,000.
I'll go back to Theodore Herzl, who called it a colonial project.
About 1890. I'm going back 3,000 years ago.
Okay, Theodore Herzl, and the Jewish Colonial Association, they called David Ben Gurion. They called this a colonial project. When you say it's anti-colonial, the founders don't know what you're talking about.
You know what? In context, that's a sidebar because 3,000 years ago, the Jews were the original people there. The Temple Mount, is it built on top of the Jewish temple or is it built below the Jewish temple?
Okay, so
who's decolonizing?
So what is that? So what does that mean? So it should be okay. So let's follow that logic. So then it goes into what? It becomes wait.
But Theodore Herzl is
Theodore Herzl. He's the founder of the Zionist movement. He started the first Jewish Congress, the Zionist Congress, in the 1800s. He started the settlers.
Right, but so you're invoking his name and you're saying that says that there's no decolonization. So you tell me, everybody talks about all the
They called it a colonial movement.
Well, let me ask you another question just so we can balance the scales a little bit. Can you name me one Arab country that has not ethnically cleansed Christians and Jews?
So I feel like that's a nice pivot.
Because a lot of people may have converted. I mean, we don't have a history of the oldest Christian communities in the world are all in the Muslim world, like every single one of them, right? Like in Jerusalem, there's a bunch of churches, right? Like the Muslims didn't get rid of them, and you didn't bring them back. They've been there forever. Egypt, Syria, what used to be Israel, Palestine, whatever you want.
They don't exist. They're small numbers. They've been ethnically cleansed.
When the Christians arrived in South America, North America, Africa, like they killed everybody, right? Like in Europe, there is no paganism anymore because the Christians got rid of it all. In India, there is Hindus.
How many Jews are in Iran right now? Are we talking about hundreds, thousands, millions, or billions?
Since 1948, there's been a little bit of beef going on, but I don't know. I've never been to Iran, but I could go on YouTube right now and find Iranian Jews telling you they live there. And you can say, and I can make the argument as an American, you can make the argument as an Israeli that they're lying, they're being paid to say this and that. We can make the argument that Jewish people inside Iran that say it's lovely there, you can make the argument that they're lying. I can make the argument that they're lying also, but they are there. No, I'm not.
The question is how many?
I don't know.
So
how does that justify an apartheid state?
So first of all, you're looking for a soundbite, and you bring up the word apartheid. We said we were gonna.
In good faith.
We said we were gonna balance the argument.
No, I said it would be. I said it'd be talking to you in good faith.
You know what? You are biased, and that's why I didn't want to talk to you. Because for you to come back to me with that just shows that you're looking
If
for
the
context.
Muslim world is being violent, then how does that
Well,
justify an
you
apartheid
could-
state?
You couldn't answer the question. Which Arab country has not ethnically cleansed Jews and Christians?
Okay, which one hasn't? So do you know the answer?
Womp womp.
Oh yeah.
I'll give you a bunch.
Yeah, those,
Right? I don't know.
Play my womp womp and then actually show a chart.
so
of the numbers.
how does that justify 27,000 people being killed?
Well, first of all, any life that is killed is horrible. It's absolutely horrible. So why are you asking me why it's justified? Did I say I justify it? Why would you? Why would
we're
you?
here talking about
why-
stopping
no, why would you ask me? First of all, it's not a genocide.
What? It, by all accounts, it is a
It's
genocide.
not. It's not.
By
not-
every
no,
definition.
No. By
Every humanitarian group, the ICJ, like by every definition, it's a genocide.
No, not the international court. That's not a. It said it's not a genocide.
The international court said which state said it wasn't a genocide?
There was just a ruling in Africa that Africa brought the charges. Did they not? say
South
it was-
Africa said it's not a genocide.
Not South Africa. International court.
Okay. So you read the report from the South Africa and the case they brought? It's pretty damning.
They said it's not a genocide.
Yeah. So the jurors on there, which are all other states, they ruled against it being a genocide. They basically disagree with every humanitarian group. Every humanitarian group has called this genocidal
Okay,
apartheid.
I want to talk about consensus. On any given year, when you take a look at the resolutions in the United Nations, you have like 17 against Israel, and then you have like 2 against the rest of the world. So that's your world consensus. You currently have 73 conflicts and wars that are going on in the world, and 17 are against Israel and 3 are against the rest of the world. So that's the consensus, the argument that you're making with me.
Here's a better one. Let's steel man the
Listen,
argument.
listen,
Let's
listen,
assume it.
listen.
What
Can
is
you
Gaza?
agree- Hold on. Can you
What
agree
is
with
Gaza?
that It's all
What is Gaza? What is it? Is it a state?
I mean, as far as what it's recognized,
Is it recognized as a state?
but why isn't it recognized as a state?
That's a fantastic conversation.
Does anything have to do with 1992, where where Arafat rejected a 2-state solution? Maybe does some of that?
The
happen?
terms of that were very awful. They were like
Awful.
They were very
They
awful
got
terms.
90% of what they wanted, and then when the next Israeli administration came in, they got 100% of what they wanted. So what are you talking about?
That would have been the whole land. Give it back, right?
What's that?
100% of what they wanted.
No,
would mean
on the
they got the whole land.
negotiations.
I'm talking about-
That's realistic.
I'm talking about right now. The last 20
Let me
years.
ask you a question. So you think you know a lot, right? And I hope you do know a lot, because maybe you could maybe you could teach me something. So 1948, did 5 countries attack Israel? 5 Arab countries?
Yeah.
Okay, did they lose?
I guess.
Okay, occupation doesn't exist.